Oh my goodness, friends, welcome to 2023. We have made it to a brand new year. And what better way to start off the year than by talking about goal setting and New Year's resolutions. Now, the thought of having this conversation, the thought of New Year's resolutions, goal setting may make you cringe a little inside. If you have tried in the past to set goals and you feel like you keep falling short, you never hit those goals, you always fail to keep those resolutions, then that's not something you really enjoy talking about. But I am so excited to have this conversation because I want to give you a different perspective, a different way for us to look at these concepts and what it means for you as a military spouse. We're going to answer the question that's really at the back of your mind. Is it worth it to set goals as a military spouse when life feels so unpredictable and outside of our control? And if so, how do we actually do it? So what do you say? Are you ready to rethink the way that you think about New Year's resolutions? Then let's do it. You, my friend, are made for more. More than the managing of schedules, keeping up with kiddos, and holding down the home front. Welcome to the Milspouse Mastermind Show. I'm here to help you navigate life as a military spouse. Get unstuck and craft a life with purpose. Hi, I'm Christine, a military spouse of over 10 years, mom of littles, and coffee connoisseur. You have something valuable to offer. And when you pursue the things that light your heart on fire, you trade frustration for fulfillment and isolation for a life of impact. If you feel stuck, waiting for some future season to chase your dreams, then it's time to discover who you are meant to be, because together, we can change the world. What if 2023 could be different? What if instead of feeling like you have to keep putting your goals and dreams on the back burner? What if instead of feeling discouraged by the lack of progress in your business? What if instead of beating yourself up over not hitting goals time and time again, you tried another way? What if you opened yourself up to the flexible goal setting method? What if we focused not on what feels impossible, but what you can do right now with what you have, and in the process, create a year full of opportunity, possibility, and action? Regardless of what the year is going to look like, if you have a dream on your heart, or you just want to up-level your life in 2023, come join me on January 19th for a live workshop. We're going to talk about how to make real growth happen for you in 2023. We're going to talk about what's not working, what's actually attainable, and how to make progress on the things that matter most to you. If you have a dream on your heart, but you're not sure how to make it a reality, or if you've given up on setting goals because you just wind up disappointing yourself, then the Milspouse Flexible Goal Setting Masterclass is for you. And all you have to do is go to milspousemastermind.com/plan your 2023 to register. I'll have that linked below in the show notes, but I would love to have you join us for this live workshop. You will also receive a full goal-setting workbook to help you plan out your year. And if you can't make it live, no worries. There will be a replay available, but you do have to go to milspousemastermind.com/plan your 2023 to register. I'm so excited to do this with you. And I guess this is a little bit of a spoiler alert because the first question that we're really talking about today is it worth it to set goals? And obviously, if I'm planning a workshop to talk about how we set goals as a military spouse and how we make 2023 our best year yet, then you know that I'm a big fan of goal setting. And I want to make this something that feels doable for you, for your life as a military spouse in the midst of unpredictability. If you have a spouse that's going to be deployed this year, or if you are planning a major move around the world, or any other major life event that you know might be happening and you're not sure what to do with that and how to actually make progress on the things that matter with all the things that you have coming up on your plate, I want to make this feel like it's a possibility for you. So that is coming up on January 19th, 10:30 a.m. Pacific time, 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. I can't wait to unpack the how we do this with you today. But I just wanted to give us an overview today of what we're actually doing wrong. We're going to get into why we so often fail to keep our goals or our New Year's resolution. And by now you've realized I have found a better way. So why do we not keep those resolutions? Okay, let's start with the fact that this is not something that is just unique to military spouses. According to one statistic that I read, 75 people actually make a resolution of some kind. But can we guess the percentage that actually accomplishes that resolution? It's a lot smaller. And in fact, the older that you are, the less likely you are to make a New Year's resolution. And this can be attributed to the fact that over time, if we fail to keep those resolutions, we decide, hey, it's not even worth it. We're just going to wind up disappointing ourselves or feeling like it is a fruitless exercise. But I want to go quickly over 4 reasons that we don't keep our goals that we set, our New Year's resolutions. Number 1, we're not setting the right goals. Now, what are the right goals? We're going to get into that in a minute, but if you're not setting the right goals for you, if you're not setting the right type of goals, if you're not doing it in a way that actually is achievable and doable, it's not going to work. So, number 1, we just start with the wrong goals. Number 2, we don't have a plan to make it happen. A goal without a plan is simply a dream. But the only way to actually make progress on those goals is to have a plan of action of what you're going to do to make that dream, that goal, a reality in your life. Number 3, we don't achieve those goals or those resolutions because we don't make it a priority. We actually have to put it on our calendar. We have to schedule it into our life, and we have to prioritize that thing or it will not happen. Or everything around us, everybody else's demands on our time and energy are going to take priority, and we won't make that thing happen. Number 4, we fail to achieve those goals, those New Year's resolutions, because we're not tracking our progress. We can make the plan, we can put it in our calendar, but then we have to actually go back and reflect on it. Did I make progress on it? Am I keeping this at the top of my mind? How am I doing? Am I actually able to stick to the plan, or does the plan need to change? If we don't go back and take that time to track our progress, to reflect on what's going well, what's not going well, what we need to shift to make us continue to make progress on that, then we're probably not going to achieve that goal. And then the 5th thing, kind of a bonus thing that I think is one of the reasons that we don't achieve our resolutions, is because life happens. Life gets in the way, and sometimes we have to be able to adjust our expectations based on what actually is happening. Life happens, circumstances happens, and we have to be able to adjust, and that may impact our ability to do the thing, to follow the plan, to achieve our goal within the time frame that we've set for ourselves. I found that to be true in my own life this year when I set some big audacious goals for my year, but I had a lot on my calendar, and a lot of that I was expecting to happen with an Oconus PCS and being without our stuff and moving across the ocean, and things that I hoped would fall into place in a particular time period, and they didn't fall into place as quickly as I was hoping, that I was expecting. And so I had to adjust my initial goals, my plans for the year based on what actually happened in our year. And that's why I'm such a big proponent of teaching this flexible goal setting method for military spouses. And that's what we're going to get into in that live training. But those are some of the reasons why we don't actually achieve our goals. Now, let's go back to the very beginning, because I think some people just need this reminder that setting goals actually matters. If you look at the practices and behaviors of those we would consider high performers, high achievers, anybody that has accomplished anything in their life, those people set goals. Goal setting is a part of being a high performer, high achiever. If you want to up level your life, goal setting is a part of that. And people who set goals and regularly track their progress are more likely to achieve them. So if you have a dream, but you never actually set a plan to make it happen, if you never actually put it into place, you're probably never going to accomplish that goal. You're never going to see that dream become a reality. Now, are you guaranteed to have that dream happen because you set a goal? No, but you are much more likely to get there, to move in the right direction if you actually put that goal and then back it up by a plan of action and track your progress. So how do we set? Let me just lay the foundation for what this flexible goal setting method looks like. And then in the live training, we're going to get into the specifics of how you do this in your own life. But the number one thing, the foundational element of flexible goal setting is setting the right goals for you. And I really want us to focus on growth goals. Now, what is a growth goal? There are three main elements of what a growth goal is. Number one, it's a goal that aligns with your core values. So number one, if you don't know what your core values are, there are plenty of episodes available. I'll link a couple in the show notes that talk about our core values, or you can just download our free worksheet that talks about how you figure out what your core values are. But once you establish what those core values are, your growth goals are going to align with your values. They are, number two, going to encompass all areas of your life. I created the growth wheel, which divides our life into 10 major areas. And it's looking at each of these areas of our life and asking the question, how do I up-level my life in each area? How do I want to grow? And that brings us to the third element of a growth goal. It is focused on growth, not achievement. It's not about the end goal, but about who you are becoming in the process, how you are growing. It answers the question, how do I want to grow this year? And I love this quote from John C. Maxwell that says, if you focus on goals, you may hit goals, but that doesn't guarantee growth. If you focus on growth, you will grow and always hit your goals. And so our focus here is about growing as a person. And I think that when we are talking about setting goals, when we are talking about New Year's resolutions, everything related to goal setting really comes down to how we grow as people, how we become the best version of ourselves, because that allows us to show up well for ourselves, for those we are in relationship with, and for the thing that we feel like we are called to do. That purpose, that drive, the way that we are using what we have to serve others, it's about growing. And so, yes, we're going to have specific things that we want to accomplish. And some of us are going to have a clear, big dream on our heart, and we want to figure out how we make that dream and break that down into weekly, daily actions even that lead us to accomplish that dream. But regardless of whether you have a specific big dream or not, all of us have the opportunity to grow this year. All of us have the ability to answer the question, who do I want to become in 2023? How do I want to show up? And how can I live into becoming that person? So the first element of flexible goal setting is really setting the right goals and focusing on growth goals and how we want to grow this year. The second element of this is tying it to a why. Why do you want that thing to happen? Why is that the dream on your heart? What will be possible if you accomplish that thing? Why? Because when the going gets tough, and it will, and there will be lots of things that try to get in our way, if we have that why, that's what keeps us motivated. That's what keeps us going. And so we have to regularly remind ourselves of that why. So you set the goal, your growth goal, you tie it to a why, then you have to actually make a plan. Because like I said earlier, if we don't have a plan, it just stays a dream. We have to actually make a plan to make it happen. How are we going to make progress on that thing? How do we make it a reality in our lives? So we're going to create a plan to make it happen. Then we have to set our schedule. Because if it is not in our schedule will become filled with everybody else's priorities. Our schedule will become filled with whatever we let become the priority. So what is your priority? And have you put it on the calendar? Or are you letting someone else's priorities determine all of your calendar, all of the white space in your calendar? What are you doing with it? And this is not a question that's about packing your schedule to the brim, to pushing yourself to work harder, to work longer, to do more, to burn yourself out in the process, because that is not what we are after here. We are after sustainable life of purpose. We are after being able to live meaningful lives as military spouses while prioritizing the things that matter most to us. And there are specific ways that we can do to craft a schedule that allows us to make room for the things that matter to us, to prioritize the things that matter most. But ultimately, you have to be proactive with your time and with your schedule, or it will not happen, or it will be filled up and you will never make progress on the things that matter to you. The fifth thing we have to do is to assess our progress. We have to look at what is going on, how we're making progress, and what needs to shift in order for us to continue to make progress on the things that matter to us. If we don't take that time for reflection, we're probably not going to achieve that goal. So, number one, we got to set the right goals. Number two, we got to tie it to a why. Number two, we've got to create that plan. Number four, we've got to put it in the calendar. We've got to set the schedule that supports that priority. Number five, we've got to assess our progress. And number six, And I think this is so important, especially as military spouses, is that we've got to give ourselves grace. Flexible goal setting means that sometimes the timeline of the goal is going to have to shift based on what is happening in life. And to be okay with that, to give ourselves grace when life gets in the way, when we're having a bad day, a week, a month, because we're trying to do all of this alone without a support system, without a spouse that is able to participate and take an active role in managing our home, without extended family nearby, all of the things that soak up all of the extra margin in our schedule, it happens. And if you're like me, it can be easy to beat yourself up and say, why did I let all of that get in the way? Why didn't I do a better job of sticking to my plan? Why? Or to compare ourselves to people who have those support structures in place and say, why am I not moving as fast or accomplishing as much as that other person? But the journey is unique for each of us, and it takes the ability to give ourselves so much grace and to reframe our mindset so we don't get stuck in that trap of saying, why didn't I do better? Because that doesn't serve us, and that doesn't lead us to the life we were meant to live, the abundant life, the fulfilling life, the life of meaning and purpose. And that is what I want for you. That is what I want for me. And that is what I want us to do together. So this is kind of the big picture of what does this look like for your life as a military spouse? What does flexible goal setting look like? And then we're going to get into all of those specifics of how we make this a reality in your life, how we actually create the plan, we actually figure out what your goals are for this year, how we put it into our schedule, and then how we manage our mindset when things don't go according to plan. So I am so excited about doing this training, this live workshop with you, because I want you to have the best year yet. I want you to have an amazing 2023 despite everything that might be on the horizon for you. And I want us to do it together, and I want us to support each other on our journeys, because the journey is going to look different for each of us, but we are all here with the same ultimate goal, and that is to live a life of meaning and purpose as a military spouse, and we can totally support each other along the way. So I hope you will join us for that live training. Just go to milspousemastermind.com/plan year 2023 to make sure you are registered for that. Oh, just to give you a heads up, as we are planning out the year, I have several bonus episodes for you this month. I really wanted to let you know what this looks like, to take some time to reflect on your year, to plan your year, to talk about what is possible for you and for your life in the coming days. So just stay tuned for that. But until I see you back here in a few days, I hope you have an amazing week, living filled, fueled, and full of joy. Hey friend, before you go, the Milspouse Mastermind community is here to help you thrive as a military spouse. Figure out what lights your heart on fire and equip you to create a life of impact. You can have an incredible impact simply by heading over to iTunes to subscribe and leave a review. And if today's episode was meaningful to you, I know it will be for others too. Spread the word by taking a screenshot of this episode and share it to your stories so we can continue to reach more people, change more lives, and shift the way that military spouses look at life. Because we are better together, and together we can change the world. Let's do it.